I remember as a kid 100 years ago being in a kung fu class and just getting literally beaten up by like a Vietnam vet adult, and I'm just a little kid, you know what I mean? And you
Mhm.
remember these old days of how it was, the
Yeah,
lack of professionalism and how it's evolved to today. Completely different thing now, right? And even
100%.
in the early days of jujitsu, in the early academies,
Mhm.
it was kind of a free for all in a way, we're beating the hell out of each other, etc. I'm very interested in the mistakes that business people make because,
Sure,
how you learn. And also your observations of other academies, not to really crap on anyone or anything,
sure.
but just like I'm sure you've been to places where you're like, okay, you're going to learn things you don't want to do, right? Which are very important lessons in order to establish your business. And also being that you have always been like such a hardcore competitor, I'll call it hardcore with that competitor
Sure.
mindset. Generally, what I find is younger guys when they open academies that they tend to, we're going to go hard all the time, no
Mhm,
matter what. I don't care, whatever your age is, it's
mhm,
just going to be like this. And then things sort of evolve, right? They
mhm.
change, and then you realize the realistic outcome of these things, and then you become the product you become. I call it product, right? Because it is a business now. There's a ton of competition. So
Sure.
your thoughts on all of that?
Yeah, I was terrible. I was terrible. I was looking at people like, "You guys are a bunch of slugs." Like, "What's wrong with you?" When I first started teaching for other people, right? And then listen,
Sure.
I will say this, and this is not the defense defending my formative years of learning how to teach, right? Whether it be in MMA or judo or jiu-jitsu. We'll just use jiu-jitsu for example, when I first started teaching
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu. I
Yeah.
think they wanted me to teach a class that was more geared to people like having that edge, like at first, but I was awful. I was awful. I was just miserable. Not miserable mean, but miserable like you knew you were coming there for like it was going to be like a whirlwind of just violence. Like just there was no
Sure.
other word
Yeah.
for it. Like
Of
from the
course. Yep.
warm-ups being like crazy nonsense
Yeah.
to like, just be like everyone's going hard. And if you're not going hard, I'm chewing you out. But, very, very drill instructor in like and you know where that is? And that's also you trying to find your bearing. Like, I have to, regardless if people will respect me or not already, they're going to respect me now, right? You get that little bit of like
Yeah.
power, and then you turn into a crazy little warlord for a hot
Yeah.
minute there. And it's just a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare for the people. It's a nightmare for me because you're kind of like, did I do a good job or did I just like ragdoll everybody? And like now people are looking at me sideways because like this guy's psychotic. And to be honest with you, it's like you're applying the things that work for you to get where you're at or what your goals are. You turn it up to a cartoon level of nonsense with aggression. And then you go, hey, this dad who's an accountant who's got two kids and a wife and a mortgage. Yeah, you want to do this, right? And this guy's like, what are you talking about? Like you assume that they're that's the reason they're there.
How do you come to that awareness though, Dan?
Oh, the looks on people's faces. After a while, the looks on people's faces are like, what's going on? Like, what's going on?" And they'll tell you, they'll be like, "Man, you're giving us what we want to a certain degree." And then there's like, "We could probably live without certain other stuff." And this is why I try to be really transparent and really communicative with my students, right? And the nice thing about what's going on right now is in terms of like the strife people are running into and all this other stuff. I tell people all the time, I'll have whatever relationship with my students they want, short of obviously, personal relationships outside of friendship. That's my line. I go, hey, you want to have dinner? We'll hang out in groups, no problem. If you just want to come in and be polite, that's cool too. But I'm always here. You can message me, call me, text me, email me. That it's really easy. I'm interested in what you have to say. Don't be afraid of me like telling you no or something like that. I'm not going to blow up on you. It's not going to be crazy nonsense. I'm not going to go, hey, I'm the teacher and that's it. That's going to be the end of or I'm the business owner. That's it. No, I'm really kind of open to hearing people's perspective of a lot of stuff. I'm always trying to make their experience better. I really am.
Have you
Now,
always been this way? Or is this a maturity thing?
no, this is definitely a maturity thing. This is definitely a maturity thing in getting to see people and going like just people again, but that's a real big, really big compliment to the people that I've had for a long time and the people that come into our gym. They're very like understanding that I'm not going to lose my mind, but maybe even if I was, let me take a risk and like mention something to them. And then I look at them, I go, you're right. I try to be really fair. I know life isn't fair. I really know life isn't fair to most people. Little kids get cancer, right? I say this,
Yeah.
well, that's always the statement I make, but I try to be fair with people. So to be fair with them, you have to listen to what people have to say. Because if you're not going to listen to people and what they have to say and actually take it in, you're being disingenuous. You're not really having a conversation with them. You're just kind of, yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Okay, yeah. No, no, we're not doing that. Again, like I said, disingenuous. And I don't think that breeds trust. And it's the same thing now, like going back to what we were just talking about. Before I would just be hard with everybody. Hard line, hard line. Now I'll be very critical of somebody if I'm like, if, especially the people that I know really well. I'm like, my God, that was trash. Like if they were doing something, I'll be like, ugh, that was trash. But then if they do something, I'll be like, wow, that was really good. Because they can trust what I'm telling them. Right? It's not just always patting them on the head and going, "Oh, that was great," or not always just being, like, really hard with them just for the sake of being
Yeah.
hard because you
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's gonna be responsive. I try to be honest because I'm getting paid to coach them, and I'm really heavily invested in them getting better. As I mention to people all the time, 99% of the people that come in jiu-jitsu or combat sports gyms don't wanna compete, have no interest in it. Don't I you we could put a gun to their head and be like, "Who's this guy?" We can show them all the people that just won worlds in ADCC, and they'd be like, "I don't know, shoot me," because I have no clue who that person is. Like, they
Yeah.
don't know,
Totally.
and they don't know, and they have no interest in knowing, like, at all, ever. So, the idea is, like, to teach them and teach them with whatever their goal is, whether it's just getting in shape and learning a life skill around getting in shape, that's what I'm there for. So, I have to make sure that they have the confidence of what I'm showing them and what we're drilling and training and going through is going to serve them well. So I have to be honest with them. So, but that doesn't come from a place of like just being hard anymore. I was really hard at first and hard and just like insulting to people because they weren't working to my like level. And it was just, it was, oh, terrible character. It was awful, awful, awful. And that was me teaching for people to start, right? And then I learned, I go, got feedback. I go, people don't like this. Okay, let me amend that. And then also the other thing for teaching for other people too, and training at other gyms and being members of gyms, because I've always been a member of a gym in addition to running my own gyms, etc. I like being coached. I like having peer groups, and I like. Listen, I was trained forever in parallel to my gym in Manhattan at Marcelo's.
Wow.
Didn't I didn't have to. No one told me to. I paid my money. I came. I didn't ask for any free rides or anything like that. I'm like, I'm going to pay. I'm going to be just like everybody else. I love being here. I'm happy to be here. How else are we going to have a gym if not only the black belts pay, but everyone pays? It was good because it showed me like not just his particular gym, but everyone's gym. It's not that people don't like stuff, but they're like, I could live without that. I could live without that. Like we could streamline this and make my time much better. And you go, yeah, this isn't really adding a tremendous amount of value. And you'll talk
Hmm.
to anybody about some of those old behaviors that people have, and they go, "Why are you still doing it this way?" They go, "I've always done it this way." I go, "What a terrible reason to keep doing something." I
Yeah.
go, "That is
Yeah.
such an awful reason to keep doing something." I go, "You just have to be really kind of self-aware." And unfortunately, I am self-aware. Sometimes it takes a little while for it to click and go, "Ugh, like this, I could have been more self-aware sooner." But I am very self-critical. I just want to make sure that I'm providing the service people have. And I know I have to be critical of myself just the same way I be critical while running the business as I am preparing for an event. Am I leaving no stone unturned? Am I looking to other people to ask for like, opinions back, the people that I trust, the people that I care about? And these are the students in this case, right? So it makes business actually a lot easier if you at least let people talk to you in that capacity because you get the feedback to help people. Then that goes from the schedule right down to what you're doing in class. I write out a 2-week lesson plan. So the lesson plan runs for 2 weeks and then we go into another chapter and things like that. And if I find that people are not getting something, I'll extend it or I'll change course. And like, because again, I can't go, why are you guys not getting this? You guys suck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't do that because if you're doing that, it's removing the accountability from yourself. And I think running a business in this case, especially because I was an idiot and I put my name on the business, you have accountability. There's no, who else are you going to blame? Like, you're going to look around and blame, the person running the desk for you? No, it's you. You have to be the one that's going like, I got to kind of deal with this. And I have to be willing to go, I was wrong. I could do better. That's a tough pill to swallow. We all have an ego. Combat sports probably has the craziest, but that's always my favorite statement that there's no ego here. I go, really? Really? Here of all places? You mean the sport? that we got guys who are in their 40s and 50s doing copious amounts of steroids, no ego, zero. Really? Okay. Okay. All right. Whatever you say, guys. But yeah, we all have an ego, but you got to kind of be your own worst critic if you want to serve your clientele, your students, the people you care about that allow you to do this well.
Mm.
It's such a gift to have this job. I can't tell. I would rather be shot into the surface of the sun than not teach jujitsu for a living. Truly. Just throw me into a volcano. I'm so grateful for this. And the way that I look at it is I'm so grateful to have them more than they are to have me. Because without them, I don't have anything. I'm just standing in a room by myself somewhere. It's a padded room. Now it's a mental institution, basically. It's like without them, it doesn't function. So
Yeah.
it's important. It's important to make sure that you're running it to people's standards. One, have a standard, and then keep people running according to that standard. But also make sure that there's some say in things, right? I'm always interested. We've been, talking a lot about different classes recently and how to facilitate that. And we have a bunch of different chat groups going on. My point is communication's paramount with these things to run a business. And if you're not getting feedback, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you really trying to accomplish?